Hi there, my name is Davina Ware from The Complete Leader, and I'm here for our next iteration of Ask a Coach, where we take questions coming from our community and pose it to our expert faculty and coaches. Today we have Francis Eberle and Jalene Case, who will give their very unique perspective on this question that we received. My boss doesn't even know that I work at the company, it seems like. The only time we interact is when I get an assignment or they want to review my work. Also, my boss works really long hours and seems to expect me to work those same hours. People in other departments go home at a reasonable time, but I stay mostly as long as my boss. They don't even acknowledge my efforts. I like the company, my colleagues, and the work I do. It's my boss that I'm finding hard to work with. Do you have any ideas of how I can connect with them so they see me and I feel like they know I exist? And how can I work less hours without feeling like I'm obligated because they work until 8 or 9 p.m.? Okay, I look forward to hearing your perspective on this.
The overall approach would be exactly what you're talking about, Davina, is to explore the work relationships. And then the second area is to clarify expectations. So in those first couple paragraphs, really, you talk about people not noticing the work I do at the company, the boss in particular. The only time that the person interacts with the boss is when they get an assignment. This they seem to expect me to also work these long hours. So this is the direction I would go with that. Asking the person, tell me about the interactions with your boss. So I think in this line of questioning, it would be related to helping the person see what's really there. So how frequent are, getting very specific, how frequent are the interactions? How long are the interactions? What are those conversations like? Share some of the things with me that the boss says that you think, that gives you the belief that they want you to work those longer hours. Just, we tell ourselves stories in our heads. We get in that loop of a story and we say, oh, my boss, telling ourselves things about our boss, telling ourselves things about what's expected of us, even though they may or may not be true. So that's the line of questioning I would go through there. Understanding what gives them the impression that their boss wants them to work the longer hours. Asking them literally, what is the story you're telling yourself about this? And then as a coach, I think one of the valuable, among many things that we can do is be a mirror for you and call you out on some things. Did you notice that you just said seems to? Is that true? Is that accurate? How could you find out? So we go down that path. And then the second area is the person really likes the company and the colleagues. So, that is something to build on, what's there. And the person wants ideas about how to connect with them so they see me and I can feel like they know I exist. So this kind of phrasing also just makes me wonder about the stories they're telling themselves in their heads about that. We can be our own worst critic in our own head. We all have that mean voice that will tell us things like, oh, you don't fit in, they don't like you. So we can examine that. And again, another valuable thing to do in a coaching session that you probably don't feel comfortable talking with other people in your life about that, but being honest about the story you're telling in your head. And then asking them, what are you contributing to this situation? What is it that you have 100% control of that maybe you can change in terms of how you're showing up, in terms of what you're doing in those scenarios? And then specifically saying, is there something you could start doing or stop doing that would influence the relationships with your boss and your coworkers? And maybe even request specific feedback from other people, from your boss, from your coworkers. Again, getting specific about the kind of feedback that you actually want. And then how can I work less hours? That is a tricky question. I understand you see people around you. It's just kind of this underlying unsaid expectation. But I think there's two sides of this. First is, what do you want? Like, do you want to work till 8 or 9 at night? Is that Can you see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel with that? Is that the kind of job that you want, or do you not? And I think this is tough too with a boss. Is how do you say, I want to work 8 hours a day, or I want to work 10 hours a day, but I don't want to work 12 hours a day. But that's first you have to be clear about what you want, and then have the tougher conversation. And yeah, and so really all in all, it's understanding what it is that you're telling yourself that's true, and what it is that you're telling yourself that is, you don't know whether it's true or not. You've just kind of made it up based on the facts in the situation. So that's where I would start. It's a lot of digging in on this one. It's not very clear cut in which direction to go until you get started in the conversation.
Okay, so you would like another take on this one, and it is in some ways similar to what Jalene just addressed, which is I don't know that much about the situation from what this person has written. For example, I don't know how long they've been working there. Are they brand new? I don't know if they've gotten any kind of performance feedback. Are they meeting expectations? So we don't know what the dynamics are for them in terms of the context, although they do say they like their colleagues, they like the company, they like the job that they're doing. So I would also use that as a point from which to move from, as to, well, if you like this, what are the other things that you could do to improve the situation? Who are the people that you could talk with? And again, I feel for this person too, because working for a manager who's a workaholic, particularly if they're not communicating, and I don't know if that's perception or if that's actually the case, is very challenging, because there's a power dynamic there that, as the person that's reporting to supervisor, you have to be careful so that you don't do anything that causes them to get angry and fire you, to let you go. So it's a delicate situation, has to be handled carefully. So some specific things, and again, I would say that it appears that they like where they are, but maybe they could do a little investigation themselves. And so, do they know how long their supervisor's been there? Is there someone they could talk with there? Have they made collegial friends within other people, or maybe someone at the same level as their supervisor who might know them? Have there been other people who've left under this person in a frequent way before them? Because again, I don't know how long they've been there. So really kind of understanding the context better for themselves, so they can know, if they stay, what conditions they're going to be operating on, therefore make some decisions about that. And to the question that Jalene asked, what is it that they want? If they're okay with this, there are lots of jobs that people do have to work 60, sometimes not lots, but certainly in the financial sector, we don't know exactly what this company is, but there are people who work extremely long hours. It's ridiculous, actually, from my perspective, but some people are willing to do it because of what they're being paid. And again, I don't know the situation, and we would have to learn a lot more about it to ask them how to reflect about that. But you could have a conversation with them, similar to what I mentioned earlier about their observations and what's going on, how they've noticed other people, or the workload seems to be such, the job demands are such. I also have these situations at home to talk with their supervisor, keeping it fairly light, and ask them if they have suggestions about the length of work that they have. And can I ask you every day? Can I go home at 5, 6, or is there a project that's due tomorrow or the next day? Or, understanding what your deadlines really are. And again, we don't know if this person's job performance is great or not. It appears that they enjoy it. So my guess is that they're doing just fine and maybe doing really well. because they wouldn't be getting positive feedback, which is terrific. But they themselves need to ask some questions, I think. And that's where the coach could help them understand and maneuver the environment so they can do that. Maybe there's someone who could be a mentor that could both help them and their supervisor. Again, depending on how badly or how much they like it. But if everything comes back and it's a negative sense in terms of where they see where they'd like to be, then they really need to probably reevaluate. And then it's similar to what I said before, that there are some options there. It's not one I would give lightly. But I think they really need to understand themselves, the roles, and whether it is fair. So it's a difficult one because I don't think there's enough here to really give enough guidance and areas to explore for them to really answer the question.
I want to thank both of you for your time and providing this really great advice for this person on our Ask a Coach series. For more information about our experts, or if you'd like to submit a question yourself, make sure you email us at info@thecompleteleader.org. We'll see you in the next series.